What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday to all you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Benny with the bag. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Ron Crawford, first in the chat. Good hustle. Says NHL spreadsheet plays 15-4, popping out 15-4. Ron Crawford spreadsheet says Columbus. Jimmy the Bag says Columbus. We're all over Columbus. I'm on the -1.5. I want a big score. Alex Ramirez ready to get to work. Fat Fist in the house. We got Rick Rodriguez. My guy Rick Rodriguez. Liking the New Mexico, Colorado State under and Miami Hurricanes money line. I would like to pull the trigger on the Miami Hurricanes money line. Thank you for sharing that with me. We got Deer Slayer Ski in the house. Says Jimmy, my brother Columbus, it is. It's riding with the low baggers. Ron Lofton, Rosie, great to see you, Rosie. Thank you for joining us. Mark Campbell says, come on, Blue Jackets. Alex Ramirez says, Blue Jackets. Spidey, play of the day. Blue Jackets money line. DX Filer, Alex Ramirez, Gate, Passkey, putting a little Jackets, Virginia parlay. Damn, right when I was starting to get confident about taking the Hurricanes, see Gate Passkey on the other side. Don't like it. Flick my big Panther Sabres over 6 at -120. And he actually got it -125. Yeah, let's see what it is right now. We'll wait. We're going to talk NHL briefly. We have a packed show, an absolutely packed show. We are starting with Drew Martin, 13 minutes from now. 15 minutes after that, the big Ragu, the sauce from the Boston, the sauce. And then we have Al Mack putting the bow on this week. There's my guy Guillermo Zertucci. Guillermo, you had a look on Santa Anita. On the Santa Anita card, I believe it was race 8. What race are we on now? I was doing the audible. I would love to jump in on that. I don't mind doing it live here on the show. Guillermo, please let me know when that race pops off. Guillermo, fantastic superstar, thoroughbred handicapper. There's Ron Lofton, and that's Rico Rokehouse, JP, JMC McGrath, Bookie, Love for Q. We got RMK saying, good job in the NHL last night, Jimmy. 6-1. He went 6-1. Nice job, RMK. Plus 6.3 units myself. That's better than me. I went 4-0 plus 4.65 units, but I felt like we were all eating last night. That feels really good. There's Walla Walla Dose, Barry Block, Justin De Leon, Tobias Mickelson, Canadian Capper. Love seeing Canadian Capper in the house. Stay hot in the NHL. It's that time of the year, baby. Buffo on the beat. Bill Buttlicker, the king of props, has graced us with his presence. Buffalo on the beat. Spectacular capper. We got We got Dirty Will. Dirty Will. Man, I like your name, Dirty Will. I grew up best friends with a guy named Dirty Hogan, and his name Will Hogan, Dirty Hogan, and any guy named Dirty Will is a friend of mine. There's Rez Mob, Keith Sadler, EJV, Topset, Trenton Claxton, Chad Costanza, Melee Payless Way, Red Girl, Diesel Eugene, Robert Lenz, Joe Lacart. Robert Lenz says let's get to work, and that's what we should do. There's Nasty Nate, Omar J. Legend, Jamal Prices as a Miami resident, waiting on a good scenario for that one. Sorry, I guess I missed that. Omar Gillette's in Hurricanes tonight, right? I hope so. Justin De Leon says, what's the lock tonight, Jimmy? I would say it's the over 6, but let's look at market moves. I would say it's the over 6 in the Sabres game. Trevor Loudon says 8 in NHL. Threw some of it up on football. So did I. Muhammad Joma, my man. I was doing the audible, but we can't air your play today because it's got music on in the background. And that sucks because I would like to air it. But we can't do that for copyright reasons. So if you can not put music in the background, that would help us celebrate your very, very strong capping. There's Melvin Betances, donkey capping, and we got to get to work. That's what we got to do. Brian Watson, Ralph Jefferson, Guru Sports Bets, Colv Coleone. Wow, is Red Girl saying it's 6.5 now? Really? That's I don't like it for people who want it, for our friends that want to get on it now, but I love that. I love beating a line move by a half a goal. Okay, let's get to work right now, and let's start going over things. Let's talk NHL really quick because we're not going to talk about it again unless Al Mack wants to talk about it near the end of the show. 10 minutes until Drew Martin joins us. Omar J. Legend, I only feel like my life is getting better because of you guys in this show, so thank you for the kind words. Okay, there's Melvin Betances ready to get to work. And, got a copy and paste, Red Girl. New Mexico full game under. Wow, okay. Copy paste that right now as we've done. There's Kanaska, there's Bryant Tran, there's Tata Booker. Man, Tata Booker, lucky lefty. What a couple. Couples that cap together stay together. Remember that. Okay, let's get to work and let's take out market moves. When Drew Martin joins us, the first thing we'll talk about is the baseball game. So don't worry about that. So let's go the next 9 minutes and just put a bow on NHL where we all destroy. Have you heard anybody in the chat say, I didn't destroy last night. We were all eating. We were all flying high, and makes me very, very happy. Chad Cassandra says Sabres is still 6. Why don't we start with the Sabres game? Let's go to money lines and totals right now. Take a look at that. And that we've had no changes. Is that right? No changes. Let's make sure we've had no changes in the goaltending situation, because that's what we always have to do. We always have to start the show making sure that we know exactly what's happening in the goaltending front. And let's take a look at that. Melee Passway saying laying the wood with Oregon. All right, let's take a look. Starting goalies. Let's get there right now. And here we go. Starting goalies. So Miller, that's what we expected. And it was key in that Columbus game. Wow. Market move towards the Ducks. Wow. That's crazy. That's nuts to me. We want Korpisalo in goal. We want to go up against Ryan Miller. That's nuts to me. Bobrovsky and Ullmark. There you go. Oh, man. Over bettors rejoice. Linus Ullmark in the house. Oh, that's wonderful news. And then Greiss versus Mrazek. Again, I do not believe Greiss's year last year. I do not believe that's facts. I do not believe he's going to be the starting goalie for the New York Islanders. There's Brent Norris saying Buffalo backup in. Brent Norris has nice play on tailing the Avs pick, Jim. Yeah, it was great. And that was a very, very, very late edition. That was my late. I added the Sharks and Avalanche late, and I'm very, very thankful that I did that. Okay, Thompson says NHL for tomorrow is what I want to know. Okay, maybe we could take a quick look. Don Pickle says Sabres to shit the bed, Jim. I hope they do. I hope they do. Red Girl says I love the Ducks today. Wow, I do not. And I'm very thankful the Ducks went 3-0 to start the year to give us value fading them. The Blue Jackets remember we talked about early show, Blue Jackets have back-to-backs Friday, Saturday for the next 3 weeks. Which is nuts. I don't remember ever hearing that. And it's going to be crucial to win the Friday in these matchups. And that was why I thought that Korpisalo would start the Friday, because they need the win right here. I love Ron Lofton says, family gone all night, just me and live SBR shows. Rest of the evening, nice. Much love to you, Ron Lofton. Diesel Jensen went 4-0-1 last night. Late run by Astros kept me from going 5-0. Too bad. I don't like hearing that. Drinking Hand says, Dave Tippett head coaching is the best. Ken Holland, GM, Oilers role. Yeah, it could be like old times in a few years from now when you guys are juggernauts. Raven in the Desert says small schools being cooked up. Those of you who don't follow Raven in the Desert on Twitter are making a giant mistake. He's been killing small schools. Last week he went 4-1. Last week I was off my 40th birthday, so I got I did my thing. You can imagine. And so, but he went 4-1 last week, but he's been putting money in my pocket and helping my record. Diesel Eugene says, something tells me the Ducks game goes over today. You know what, Diesel, if I had a free play on the total, I would take the under, or the over, excuse me. I would take the over. Okay, so let's look. Panthers, Sabres. I'm on the over 6. I got it at -115. There's still 6s on the board. Let's take a look right now. Panthers, Sabres, there's still 6s at Bet Online. Just Bet Online. Great. Thank you. Thank you. We don't have time to break down all these games. Ullmark being in there is great. And not that Hutton is that much better. He's really not. Sabres are rolling, and, I went off about Rasmus Dahlin over and over and over. Rico Money in the house. Rico Money, what a great capper. We miss you, man, on the show. Thank you for joining us. I am very happy that NHL is here. And Blood W saying no taint today. Yes, no taint today. Dutch Boy Fresh said tail that over 6 in the NHL. Gotta love when you get that 6 and then you see 6.5s across the board. Makes you very, very happy. Mr. Mississippi Razor made money. Took Carolina over 5.5. Hurricanes, money line, Nats, run line for the night. I'm on the Cardinals in game 1, but I hear what you're saying. Okay, so Panthers, Sabres, I'm on the over 6. Bobrovsky's not look good. And this Panthers offense, they're worried. They must be a little worried about Huberdeau and Barkov. I don't know why, but they moved Dadonov down to the third line, and that upsets me because I picked him in the hockey pool. Ducks, Blue Jackets. I'm on Blue Jackets -1.5. And as I said, the value fading the Ducks is going to go away soon. And it will go away after a little bit more after I cash this puck line tonight. And I expect a very sound beating of this shit Duck squad. Remember that the teams on back-to-backs, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I believe teams on back-to-backs so far in the year are like 1-7. Something awful. It's got to be more than 7, though. But I remember they were 1-5 to start the year. The heavy legs early in the season. It'll be easier to do back-to-backs later in the season. Very difficult right now. There's Super Cisco in the house. Love seeing Super Cisco. A. Hilly says, what up, Jimmy? Heading to the LSU Florida game tomorrow night. LSU -13. I agree with that look, A. Hilly. I agree with that. There's DJ Big Boss in the house doing what bosses do. Blue Jackets -1.5. I'm on it. Okay, cool. Guillermo says the 4th just went off, so we have plenty of time. That's the 8th race. Guillermo, do you mind sharing that great spot with the cappers in the chat? Because Guillermo hooked us up with the winner, race 8, Santa Anita. Oh, A. Haley's pick 6 plays in. A. Haley's dominating this contest. Here we go. Looking very, very good in this contest. I'm going to copy and paste his looks right here. Little copy and paste for A. Haley's pick 6 looks. And they are as follows. Baylor Tech under 58, Iowa +3, Tennessee +2, Green Bay -4, Vikes -3, and Nolans +1.5. Okay, so then the late game on the card. I have a play on each of these games. Hurricanes -1.5. I got that at +160. Let's see what we get now. And I got the Jackets at +195. Let's see. So if I wanted the Jackets, there's no +195s. Okay, so that makes me feel better, even though there's been a late move on the Ducks. +190 is the best you can get. And then on my Hurricanes, you can still get that +160 at 5 times. There's been little to no movement. Another thing I think, thank you, Steve, my guy. Thank you very much. Ski Prop says, I'm going to tell Columbus, what do you think about the under 6 New York Islanders versus Carolina? I don't think we take unders. I think that I know we have a vividness of what the Islanders did last year, and they'll probably continue to do that somewhat defensively. This Hurricanes team is dangerous, man. And I don't think we should take unders when they're involved in any of these games. They just went down to Florida, put a 6 spot on them. They can score and score at will. So the 2 things, the Islanders being great defensively, the Islanders being a good hockey team. I think we can almost put a line through that. Remember last year, no one cared about playing the Islanders. Thought, this is going to be an easy win. This year, everybody knows how good they are. And so I question both of those spots. Muhammad Joma says, Jimmy, what's up with the Monday night line? Went from 6.5 down to 3.5. That's ridiculous. That implies Green Bay is barely better than Detroit on a neutral site. I think, Muhammad Joma, the big thing is the week off. So you have a short week for the Packers and a bye week for the Lions. I think that's the biggest thing. And then no Devontae Adams. So that's what I say. And Ski Profit says, well, listen to you in NHL. We rock with Columbus. And Ski Profit, I made the terrible, terrible decision to go against you. One of the only times in my life in basketball. And, of course, it blew up in my face. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I love having you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so we have 2 minutes before. There's the sports cake in the house. I was hoping to have him on the show today, but having some issues with his Skype, so he will be back next Friday. Dirty Will says, what about the Boston game over? I guess, you guys want to talk a little bit about tomorrow night. Why don't we do that? Because I think we got everything covered. Why don't we talk a little bit about tomorrow? And I'm going to be taking Saturday and Sundays off early in the season, and it probably saved me some money last Saturday. So let's just take a quick look at NHL. Maybe if I see something that jumps out at me right now, let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with. Thanks to Elio Rodriguez, wanted to see what's going on. Edmonton Rangers already an 11-cent move towards the Rangers. Interesting. In this, wow. And the Pinnacle has it at 6.5, 6 everywhere else. God, Rangers feel good about themselves. Sabinajad 8 points in 2 games. Trouba 4 points in 2 games. I got them both in my hockey pool. I also have Buchnevich in my last pick. The Rangers might be an interesting look. We have Lightning coming into Ottawa. I think that if you guys want to take some big shots, it would be Ottawa first periods. And, no need to take them -1.5. If it's a 0-0 or 1-1 after the first period, it's a push. But they seem to be coming out fast, and teams are going to be coming out slow against Ottawa. So taking the Senators in first periods might be something we look at moving forward. Nashville, LA. Nashville opening up at -155, now -161. Teams starting out road trips in LA, it's always a red flag. I would never take the Kings under any circumstances, so I'm not going to take them now. Let's see. Mama Jones says Edmonton will start losing soon. Edmonton is not good. I truly think that we're going to get some opportunities with some of these teams, like the Ducks. I've repeated that a few times, how they started out 3-0 so we can fade them. The Oilers also having a great start to the year. I think that's a very shrewd look by Mohamed Joma. They're going to be a nice spot for us to fade. We got New Jersey, Boston. Boston coming back. So that's a spot that I love, and we'll see it all year. I'm not saying I'm going to take it right now, but I love fading teams on that first game back from a road trip. First game back at home is a spot I just love fading. And there's already been a 15-cent move towards the Boston Bruins. So I find New Jersey quite appealing. quite appealing here. We have St. Louis, Montreal. Montreal barely favored there in that spot. Might be a good spot for Montreal after losing the first game of their homestand against Detroit. And then for lines, we have Chicago minus 111, and that total is at 7 or 6.5. Wow. If Lehner's in goal, might be a nice look to back the Blackhawks there. Back the Blackhawks there. Not applicable says, didn't Ottawa lead St. Louis after one? They were in control a lot early in the game. Lance Rose saying, oh God, Raven and Desert putting in, I need the alert when Raven and Desert pops in stuff. Rafa, my man, can you holler at Drew Martin for me and get Drew Martin ready to go? Because we got to move on to baseball. All right, so that's a quick look at tomorrow's card. We also have Arizona, Colorado. There's already been a 20-cent move at Pinnacle towards Arizona, which that sounds to me like hammer Colorado. Wow. Might have to make a move there. There's already been a 14-cent move towards the Philadelphia Flyers. They're in Vancouver. That's a tough trip, Philly going all the way across the country, so that's probably a stay-off spot, a game that I will watch. And then we have Vegas at home against Calgary, and I'm telling you, fade Vegas without Nate Schmidt. So you know what? There are some looks that I find interesting. There's Freddie Holland in the house joining us. Thank you for joining us, Freddie Holland. All right, let's bring in our guy, Drew Martin, right now, making his way to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Drew Martin, Friday evening. How you doing, my friend?
Jimmy, I'm doing good, man. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to all the low baggers in the chat, man. It's here. We're to tomorrow's Saturday college football card looks good. We got Friday night lights action as well. And Jimmy, you're talking about Vegas Golden Knights, man. I'll tell you, since living here in Vegas, first hockey town I've really lived in, it's wild, man. People here love it. It's a fun sport to watch, and I'm going to get into it a lot more this season. So interested to getting yours in the chat box's plays on the ice.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I can't wait to watch games with you in that barn. Only heard good things about everything that's happening there in the city of Vegas. All right, let's start with this big ball game here. I doubled up, and when I make moves in baseball, probably want to fade. Cassius Thomas has no NBA plays, Jimmy. No, I'm not hammering preseason NBA at this point. I may start doing a little more as we move forward. And I know there are angles that you can take care of. Dre Machi now says, what up, Jimmy? Here visiting San Diego. It's a beautiful day to make that cash. I love Dre, man. Love Dre. It is a beautiful day to get that cash. Sanchez, Michaelis, total is at 8. Open at 8. Now it's 7.5. Bovada's moved it to 8. Michaelis and the Cards open at minus 114. They are now at minus 127. I got them at minus 116. The best you can get right now is minus 126. I also took them first 5. I broke down all the reasons why I'm backing Michaelis and the Cards here. Donnie Rightside came on our morning show, talked about liking the over in this game, and I'd not heard anyone on that at that point. I got minus 116 on the first 5. The best you get now is minus 121. This total first 5 has moved to 4. 5 times the only one holding this at 4.5. I'm doubling up on the Cardinals, and I've had a bad playoff so far, although I wasn't on the Dodgers ever, so I'm surprised I've had such a bad playoffs. I have been keeping my quantity down. Drew Martin, talk to me. Cardinals, Nationals.
Yeah, MLB playoffs, it has been an exciting MLB playoffs, man. The NL and ALDSs with the Rays putting up a great fight. The Cardinals are one of the stories that when we've seen it in years past, it's just a pesky bunch. They're solid. They're not too flashy. Michaelis on the hill. I agree with this move. I like the Cards here. I think this is a tough spot for the Nationals. Great series against the Dodgers, knocking out the heavyweights. But I think in game 1 anyway, I might like them a little bit later in the series, depending on the pitching matchups, but game 1, I'm with you guys. I like the Cardinals here. I think Michaelis throws a solid game 1 here, and the Cards come out on top. So I agree with this move.
I think the main part of it is the difficulty that Washington. So they shock the world. They beat the Dodgers. They celebrate like crazy, and then on a plane to St. Louis. Much easier spot for St. Louis. They win their game 5 very easily, and now they're at home to start the next round. I think this is quite easy. I also think that we're going to see this Nats bullpen tonight instead of the studs in the starting rotation who are taking care of things there. So I just think everything to me points to the Cardinals, and so many people on the Cardinals that people want to fade it. I mean, I can get that. There's R2D2 Finland. Says, what up, Finland? Salute to my nephew Joey Spencer, now 9-0, 7 Ks. R2D2, man, you got to let us know when he's fighting, because it just sounds very, very exciting. And congratulations to the family, to your family, for creating a boxing superstar. Jermel writes, his Cardinals just a tough team historically in the postseason. Larry Stroh like in Washington +0.5. I'm very comfortable here with Michaelis at home, game 1. Raven in the Desert leaning in the over 3.5 Ks for Michaelis. Mohamed Jonas is Washington such an inconsistent team, watching off a huge high, huge St. Louis spot. Better pitching, sounder fundamentally. I agree. Mal on the Nats, so that's dangerous, being on the other side of Mal. Okay, let's get into college football. Great breakdown. Also, wait, quickly, Drew, if you had a free play on the total, what would you do?
Oh man, I'd probably go with the over. A little bit of, but that's a real reach, man. I put most of my time in college football, and sidewise, I do like the move here on the Cardinals. So, I mean, a total free play, yeah, I'd join you guys on the over, just mainly because you said Donnie right side, and I think you said that you like the over as well, Jimmy.
I just thought it was an interesting look. Everybody been talking on it, and I think you can get to that over late. I think you're getting that over late with that shit Washington bullpen. So let's talk. And Robert Len says, let's talk Cardinals home game. More rest without travel. Agreed. Rico Money loving the over tonight in MLB. Interesting. Canadian Capper, St. Louis first inning winner at +300. Eric Nisbet says under 8 all day or 7.5. Okay, let's get to work here on these Hurricanes. We broke it down quite a bit and quite in-depthly with Teddy Covers. Nkosi Perry starting at quarterback. Going to see if this Hurricanes team can break some of these trends. 1-4-16 against Power 5 schools, 4-12 against ACC schools, 1-5 against ranked teams, and here they are possibly going 0-3 in conference play for the first time since they moved to the ACC. What are you doing here? Are you backing these Hurricanes? Because Ragu and Big Boss are on them.
I am not. No, I obviously spending a lot of time in South Florida, been, quasi Miami fan pretty much my whole life. I don't like the look of what's going on there offensively. I think coaching wise, Virginia, extra time to prepare. Want to back that. I think they have the better quarterback, the better defense, and they're catching points. I took Virginia +2.5 here tonight, Jimmy. I mean, I will say this, a Friday night, weeknight atmosphere down there in Hard Rock Stadium. Miami fans, they'll be live, they'll be loud, they'll be hydrated. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere there in Hard Rock. But at the same time, they get down 10 points, they get down 14 points. It's good night. The stadium will empty out. And I think that this Miami team, yes, defensive-wise, I like them. I think they're going to keep them in the game, which is a lot of the reason that this total's here in the low 40s. But with extra time to prepare, I like Virginia here. I think, the dual threat ability from the quarterback position and the good defense under Bronco Mendenhall, I like it. I like the Cavs here, and I bet them +2.5.
Wow, and Christopher Clementini on the same way, but Breets Beats joining us says Miami -2, bought the point to -1. Breets Beats, man, I miss your videos very much. Your videos I enjoyed so much, smoking blunts in your ride, giving us pics. Please, if you get some time to send them back to us. God, I love them. I love them. Yeah, I get it, and I'm hesitant now. Christopher Clementine says, ain't no one going to Hard Rock. Says Miami hasn't been the same since they left the Orange Bowl. Keith Sadler says, tailing Boston sauce on the Hurricanes. I've not made a move on any of these college football games as of yet. Let's move on to Colorado State, New Mexico. We saw this go down to 3.5, up to 4.5. It seems to have settled at the 4. This total at 66.5. When we broke this game down, it came to a spot where simply, can Colorado's passing game take advantage of how bad the Lobos' pass defense is and defenses in general? And the answer came back from Teddy Covers as no, but came back from our DJ Big Boss as yes. And maybe that's not the angle that Big Boss was on necessarily, but he likes these Rams, backs these Rams, and he's taking them tonight. What do you think about Lobos Rams?
Yeah, Jimmy, this is a tough one for me. Colorado State is a team I haven't been involved with yet this season, haven't seen a lot of their tape or games, and so laying points with them on the road, I have a question mark right now, wanting to do a little bit more work on that side of the ball. But I will say this about New Mexico. I mean, I'm quasi already involved in this. I have a season win total ticket on New Mexico under 4.5 wins this season. So this is a key game. You know, I don't want them to win this game by any means. I don't think they will win this game. New Mexico is a fade-only team for me, and I would recommend that towards others. It's just, you know, Bob Davies' group, he's on the way out. They're a tough team. They're a tough team to kind of gauge at home. On the road, I really don't like New Mexico, but here in Albuquerque, it's just Colorado State. You know, can they win, and can they win by margin? Is their passing game good enough? That's a great point. I mean, we're seeing it in this total at 66. I think they will be able to move the ball, but at the same time, New Mexico can move the ball as well. I mean, up against San Jose State, kind of same profile, in my opinion, as Colorado State. So I think New Mexico will be able to score. And Colorado State will be able to score as well. I like the over here. And if you make me bet the side, which I haven't bet yet, but I would be on Colorado State.
So is Keith Sadler back in Colorado State. That might be a look. We also heard that Red Girl on Virginia, too. Definitely do not want to go up against Red Girl. So I'm going to stay off of that. There's Alex Classic in the house, man. Too long. Thank you for joining us, Alex Classic. Beautiful. A question, a couple guys, a couple very strong cappers in the chat, like in the under in Virginia, Miami, and I didn't ask you about that. What do you think of the total here? It opened at 46, now all the way down to 43.5. Did we miss the number? Trenton Claxton says, take the under in Miami game. It's raining down here.
Yeah, no, weather might be an issue, and yes, I would recommend the under at this point. I haven't bet it as of right now, but seeing 43.5, it always does get tricky here when you get in the low 40s. But by no means, Jimmy, am I advocating betting the over. I don't think either team is going to push it up tempo. That clock should be rolling. Both teams keeping it on the ground as well, a large percentage of the time. Plus the fact both quarterback positions have mobility, and I could see that clock running a lot with the two superior units are both on the defensive side of the ball. I like the under here. It just gets tricky at 43.5, 44. But if you made me bet it, I would be on the under.
Would take the under now. God, I wish I jumped on that early. Let's see when this move happened. You can still get a 44 at Pinnacle. So, whoa, actually it's gone up. It went up. It moved up 12 minutes ago from 43 to 44. Wow, that's interesting. But it was at 46 when it opened. Beautiful stuff. Okay, let's keep rolling along right now. Nice to have Alex in the chat, man. Being too long, would like to get polluted with you down here in Costa Rica. Alex can drink, man, and I respect that. Okay, let's move on to the next move here, and that would be the last game, Colorado and Oregon, and it was just Oregon. Not one person in this chat said Colorado. Open at 20.5, now 21.5 or 22.5. I find this Oregon team kind of tricky to trust after that win against Cal. I know Cal's good defense, but holds Oregon to no points. Is Herbert going to dominate in this spot? We know that Colorado dealing with some injuries to wide receiver, but not one person on Colorado in the chat seems fishy. Does it make sense to back Oregon? Does it make sense to back this over? It's gone from 57.5 to 60.5.
I do like Oregon. Well, I'm probably not going to lay more than 3 touchdowns here with them, although they are at home. I'd look for them to bounce back. If you made me bet a sidewise, I would be on the Ducks. I like the over here tonight, though. Jimmy, I think both teams are going to have success offensively. In both of them, a more up-tempo. I think that they're going to kind of have that pedal to the metal in terms of wanting to put up more points here. Just seeing it at, as low as 60 right now. You know, keep in mind, this is Pac-12 after dark. These have been kind of looser atmospheres. It's always going to be a good atmosphere there at Oregon. Great home field advantage. That's what makes me look towards the Ducks. Just doubt I'll lay this number, 21.5, but with a great quarterback, good offense, in Colorado as well. They've come on offensively, but you're right. They are a little bit banged up at the skill positions, so watch out for that. It makes me look towards Oregon, but even more so, I like the over.
Speaking of that over, question coming in from the chat. What about the team total? This from our guy Lamont Williams. God, his max bets are spectacular. Put so much energy into the show. Lamont Williams says, what about Oregon team total solo over 41?
I like it. I would point that way. I think Oregon is going to have a lot of success tonight against this Colorado defense. They're at home, really good quarterback, really accurate in bounce back mode as well. They didn't look good last time. So I think that they get their offense going against a weaker defense than the Cal defense. And yeah, I could definitely see the Ducks going for north of 40 points.
North of 40. Johnny Algos, does anyone know Jimmy's? Gin Rummy's Twitter handle. Okay, yeah, I'll hit you with that, John Algo. I do have that. I'll hook you up with that. Okay, so that is the Friday look. So could you just review your Friday action one time before we go into Saturday?
Sure. I personally, I have bet right now Virginia plus 2.5. If threes come across the board here in Vegas, I'm going to jump on it again at 3. I do think Virginia's the side. That's the one personal bet I have right now. Also keep in mind I have the New Mexico season win total under 4.5. So this is a key game in there. So kind of involved in that New Mexico Colorado State game as well. But I have the Virginia Cavaliers plus 2.5.
Virginia Cavaliers plus 2.5. And I have Gin Rummy's Twitter handle. And, he only has 84 followers, and he deserves more. So the title under his Twitter handle is Risk and Management Assessment, Sports Betting Tips and Discussion, and Statistical Odds Making, Critical Thinker. And he's got his models up there. He's just got he's just trying. He wants us all to do better and to start winning and to take money away from the bookies. So I encourage you all to follow him. Okay, let's move on to your looks on the weekend. I'm going to pull up your looks right now. When was Tuesday? Was Tuesday? I got so many days. I guess it was the 8th. But I think I put it all down on your from October 7th. I believe that's what I did, and I think I looked over it today. Yes, I did. Okay, so Drew, let's talk about your looks Monday, Tuesday, and because Monday and Tuesday they were sort of more lean. So I'm just going to give you the game, and you tell us if you got to the window with it. You were already on Appalachian State. That was a great call. So let's go. Virginia under. Okay, we already talked about that. And Colorado State. There it is right there. Okay, so let's go skip past that. Okay, Temple. Did you get to the window with Temple?
Temple, let me see. Got my card here. I have not personally bet them as of now. Likely will get there before Saturday. Let me just go, I guess, starting at the top of the card here, the game that I bet, Georgia State, Coastal Carolina, getting Sunbelt action, Jimmy. We got Coastal Carolina -4 at home, -4.5 actually now, 64.5 the total. Georgia State, this Panthers team, man, they're more talented than I believe the market's giving them credit for. You got to keep in mind, Coastal Carolina in year 3 of the transition, so they're not even up to full 85 scholarships. And as we get here towards the second half of the season, I'm going to look to start fading the Chanticleers more and more. This is a Georgia State team that just beat Arkansas State. When you start talking about the top teams in the Sun Belt, at least over the last couple years and talent-wise, Arkansas State's right there with App State, Georgia Southern as well. They got athletes. Georgia State just beat Arkansas State, obviously beat Tennessee. Say what you want about Tennessee. They have SEC athletes, mobility at the quarterback position. Love that. And Coastal Carolina on a 5-game Sun Belt Conference losing streak, just 4-13 in the Sun Belt Conference. So since moving up from the Southern Conference and FCS to the Sun Belt, it's been a tough transition for him here, and I still don't think the market's kind of showing that. So 4.5. I'm taking plus 4.5 Georgia State Panthers, Jimmy. That's in Sun Belt action.
Plus 4.5. Okay, yeah, keep it rolling.
Yeah, man. Got a bunch of plays here actually. MTSU, FAU. I mostly concentrate in Sun Belt and Conference USA for where I bet up the more of my money. But we got MTSU versus FAU -10 is what I jumped on it yesterday, mainly because FAU is a team I've bet the last couple weeks. Out of week 2 here, they lost to Ohio State and UCF in week 1 and week 2. That in terms of quality of losses, that was probably the best in the country after week 2. And sure enough, we've seen it. They went up to Ball State, they smashed them, they beat Charlotte pretty handedly. Then they also beat an FCS team very handily as well. Going up against MTSU, without Brent Stockstill, he was in college for up near 6 years. The quarterback, Asher O'Hare, has come in at the quarterback position and played decently. Don't want to take anything away from him. It's not like MTSU isn't a bet on team for me, but they don't have that, one of the best group of 5 quarterbacks I can remember in quite some time in Brett Stockstill. And even more so, say what you want about Lane Kiffin, leading the FAU Owls here, Joey Fishwater, whatever you want to call him, off the field. He went out and hired Brent Stockstill. He's an offensive assistant at FAU right now. I don't think a lot of people are realizing this. I jumped all over FAU, minus 10 points. At home in Boca Raton. I think they're the more talented team. Remember, their quarterback is Chris Robinson. 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions on the season. That includes UCF and Ohio State trying to punch up against them. He was an Oklahoma recruit, 4-star athlete playing quarterback. They're healthy up front to protect him. I think FAU is a undervalued commodity here, and I laid 10 points with them at home.
Laying 10 points with FAU. We got Georgia State plus 4.5, FAU minus 10. We've got Big Ragu ready to pop on next. Our guy Drew Martin. So we don't have too much time. Can you let us know the rest of your looks?
Yeah, Tulane minus 32.5. I know it's a big number here, guys, but, going up against UConn, one of the bottom 10 teams in college football, McMillan at the quarterback position, Willie Fritz keeping the ball on the ground in the second half. That's what they're still going to do in that spread option attack. So I don't take too much away from them laying a big number. Plus, it's in the Big Easy. Tulane's played great at home. Minus 32.5 on Tulane. Laid a big number with them as well.
Laid a big number. And I've heard Gas Station Sushi back. I believe it is him backing Connecticut. So that's an interesting look. I'm going to need to put a little bit more time on it. There's Luca DiStefano in the house. Big Ragu loving it, saying Drew Martin getting that FAU action. So we have Georgia State, FAU, Tulane. Anything else?
Sure. UNLV, Vanderbilt, that one under. Both the superior units on the defensive side of the ball there. UNLV had their quarterback, a redshirt freshman from Henderson, Nevada, not far from right here. I thought he looked a little out of his element against Boise State when I was at it. They're not going up-tempo very much. And, of course, Vanderbilt, their offense hasn't been able to do much all season long, one of the worst offenses out there. UNLV still playing hard for their coach, Tony Sanchez, so I see that one staying way under. The market's already moved on that one a bunch. I think we talked about that on Monday or Tuesday as well. So I am locked and loaded on the UNLV Vanderbilt under as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, yeah, you gave that to us on Tuesday. Is there anything else on your card?
Not as of right now. Not that I have written. Oh, Charlotte FIU, minus 5. James Morgan, Maurice Alexander, just talent-wise. FIU, they've had a couple losses before, but with the quarterback position back, I think Charlotte looked good out the gate against lesser talent. They're going to try to make it to 6 wins. They might have a shot here, but against the better teams in Conference USA, I think they're going to have a tough time. So I laid the number with FIU as well.
Oh, I love it, Drew. Thank you so much for sharing your hard work with us. Let us know, where can we find you on Twitter, and tell us a little bit about your big Saturday closing line show with our next guest, the Sauce from the Boston Sauce with Big Ragu. Tell us about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. On Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. Bunch of games tomorrow on the slate. We'll be breaking them all down with Big Ragu, DJ Big Boss, and Ian Cameron. We got the closing line show here on the SBR YouTube channel, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. For about 50 minutes, we'll just be rolling through bets. We'll hit the big games, open it up for any big bets that the guys have on the Saturday slate. It's a really fun show. So, guys, tomorrow morning, come and join us. It's a lot of fun. And follow me on Twitter. Love to interact with everybody at Drew Martin Bets. Jimmy, always fun, man. Have a fun, safe weekend, and best of luck with your bets, bro.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope I did put taking another look. I hope I put my guy Jin Rummy's Twitter handle down. I was talking about him. I hope I still put it down while I was talking about it. Thank you so much for joining us, Drew. Enjoy the weekend in Vegas, and have a great show tomorrow morning.
All right, man. Best of luck, bro. Thanks.
Thanks, my friend. We have Shy Archie in the house. Kelly McMillan, a CFL expert in our chat as well. Let's bring in the Sauce, the Big Ragu, joining us every Monday and Friday late shows. I love having him on the show. Big Ragu, how you doing, my friend?
I'm on the chat, and who's got it better than Mr. Drew Martin? We're gonna have to rename him. Forget about Wayne Newton being Mr. Las Vegas. Drew Martin is the Mr. Las Vegas.
Mr. Las Vegas. I like it. I like it. There's Greg Sherman. There's my guy Lizo in the house. All right, Ragu, where do you want to start? You want to talk NFL looks? You want to focus on NCAA football? Where do you want to take us, my friend?
We'll start with NCAA tonight. We'll look at tonight's games. How's that?
Let's do it. Let's talk tonight's games because a lot of people coming to back Virginia all of a sudden. It was all Miami earlier in the week. Let's start there. Miami, Virginia.
Yeah, you asked me early in the week who I was on that game, and a lot of not one-way action, but line moves, some sharp money coming in on Miami, and I really like the look here of the Hurricanes. I know Drew's back in the other side, but man, I'm rolling with the Canes here. I think this is a game that they had to dust off that lousy game that they took the ass whooping on Virginia Tech a week or two ago, and now it's go time for Miami in Miami for them, and a lot of sharp side money on the Canes. But a lot of people in chat are showing respect to that. For Virginia, listen, Virginia's no slouch. This is a well-coached team. This is a team that's on a mission, and this is an important game for them also. So, but, the money move here and the way that the lines have been going, and you got an unranked team facing a ranked team and a team favorite in their house. Miami's going to be rocking tonight, and I'm rolling with the Canes. No one's going to change my mind on this game here.
What do you think about this total? It's just been bet up to 44 as we speak, so no more 43.5s on the board. What do you think of this total tonight?
Even before I looked at the side on Miami for sure. There's no doubt about that. But my first initial thought was under on this game. I mean, it had a dead under. You got two really defensive-minded teams. You got a team that's kind of questionable, with the offense and the quarterback play and, some indecisions there. But this is a motivation game for me here as far as Miami's concerned. More than likely, the thing I was worried about the total, and I think I mentioned it the other day, was, I see this team, both teams scoring probably close to 20 17 to 20 points, both defensive-minded teams. But a turnover either way can push this game over, and maybe that's what the chat is thinking about. Maybe that's what the public's thinking about. Maybe they're expecting some turnovers one way or the other. But it's a dangerous number. I would lean towards the under, but a total, over the total is not out of the question here. So maybe they're seeing some value there.
They must be. And also they're seeing value in the Hurricanes because there's threes on the board now. Pinnacle Bookmaker now of threes, Intertops, Bet365, Will Hill all at -3 now. 2.5s are disappearing. You have any action on Rams Lobos?
No, nothing there. The Colorado State game, the Colorado and the Oregon game, that's the game that everybody's giving a lot of one-way love on that game on Oregon. And, Vegas, they're not printing money to give away to people. And I just think I got a bad feeling about that game. I'm not on it, but I would use caution if everybody's going to back Colorado. I keep saying Colorado. If anybody's going to back Oregon, they're going to probably make their run here. As far as, start thinking about, getting into that Big Ten championship, and this is a key game for them. But I don't know, man, that's a lot of points. You need up north of 3 touchdowns to get the W here. And I guess they think they're just Colorado's going to lay down here. But I don't know. I've seen this story too many times as far as on a gambling standpoint. When everybody goes one way, just from experience, it's a tough look to go with everybody else. So I think Sharps and Public is going to be hammering Oregon in this game on the Ducks. So I'd use caution if I was going to back Oregon at home in this game. Too many points in my book.
Well, I'm gonna. I just, what's been going on with me in Pac-12 right now. Farshad Sami saying Miami's play. Sorry, Farshad, I missed that. You asked about my looks in NHL. I'm on very simple stuff here. Canes -1.5, Jackets -1.5, and I got the over Florida Buffalo this morning at 6. And I don't think I would take it at 6.5. Not meaning I don't love it. I really like it. And I think Buffalo overs are going to be handing us cash moving forward. Okay, let's get some sneak peeks at Ragu's card tomorrow. And if you want more breakdowns from the Big Ragu closing line Saturday morning, giving us low baggers some sneak peeks at what he's going to be after on Saturday. Let me pull up what you were on Monday too, and Wednesday as well from our Pick 6 show. But what are your looks for the big Saturday card?
I'm going to go to the Big Ten, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Now, to me, for my money, everybody's giving Ohio State all the love as the creme de la creme, number 4 ranking, number 3 ranking in some polls. Ohio State knocking people all over the place on the field. Let me tell you something. This Wisconsin team, this team's for real. This team is for real, okay? Their defense, they're giving up less than 10 points a game. They got an offensive line from hell that they're going to be in a big matchup with Michigan State. Michigan State, we know what their defense is all about. They're out there to chop you down and try to keep points off the board. So this could be an ugly game. When I say ugly, it can get ugly for Michigan State if they don't try to control that line of scrimmage. And offensive line for Wisconsin, with Jonathan Taylor and what he's about to do, that's mission number 1 to stop him. So I mean, if Michigan State has any inclination of staying in this ball game, they're going to have to do it up front defensively against that beefy Wisconsin line, and Wisconsin's defense, they're no joke too. So that's another problem for Michigan State because their offense is not doing real well, and I see Wisconsin giving their team on the other side of the ball a lot of fits too. So this is going to be a very physical game. I think the 2 scores here, it's 10-10.5, whatever it is. I think there's going to be a defensive battle initially for Michigan State, and then they're going to get really wore down late in the game, and I see Wisconsin winning by 3 touchdowns.
Wisconsin taking care of business. That's a big, big game tomorrow. Love hearing that. This is from our Big Ragu, liking Wisconsin tomorrow. What else?
I didn't touch on this game, but we haven't heard. I mean, we know about Alabama, what's going on with these guys. I mean, they've got the trio of wide receivers that's just totally lighting up the scoreboard. They're blowing people out left and right. They're 30+ margin on their games, and we know that Kelly Mond is a quality kid for A&M. He's went up against it twice in big games, and they were on the short side of the stick both times there. They did get us on the Clemson game with a cover, but they still had the L. So they're going to be a game opponent early, but I think Jimbo has Nick Saban has a lot of respect for Jimbo. They used to coach together back in the day, but I just think it's going to be too much to ask. And the fans are going to try to take in College Station. They're going to try to score early to try to take. They're going to try. It's going to be the other way. Alabama's going to take the crowd out of the game early in this game, and you could probably hear a pin drop come around third quarter here. But they'll be leaving the gates around the third quarter. I think Alabama's probably going to. I'm going to play a chalk here. I'm not going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to lay the chalk. I think Alabama gets it done in a big way, and I think a lot of people are going to leave the gates early in College Station.
Bama smash at College Station. Bama smash. Anthony Mastinardi says Texas A&M covers. They always do at home. Bama smash from Big Ragu. Any other looks on your card, Big Ragu?
I was going to save this one for tomorrow, but I love to chat too much to sit back and not say a thing about this game. So last year, when we talked about the Red River shootout, and I don't know if that's politically correct, but I'm calling it a shootout because that's what it's going to be. Now, we know that what goes on in Oklahoma with all these quarterbacks that keep pumping them out, man, back-to-back, maybe back-to-back Heisman candidates here. DJ and I, we broke this team down very early in the season, and we had conversation about this yesterday. This Jalen Hurts kid, man, he's really stepped up and picked up the pieces for this squad up in Oklahoma, and they're just like a machine. And their defense, surprisingly early, we figured that's the thing that's always keeping this team out of the college playoff victory column. They've been there before. We haven't had a team come from the Big 12 that's won a college football playoff game yet. And maybe Oklahoma could be the first one, and maybe Texas could be the first one. But Texas is going to have to get healthy here. We know Ellinger is a gamer. He's going to put his heart on the field every time he steps out there, especially in a game like this. And that's been their problem in the past, because it's tough to beat a team twice in that conference, especially after you've left everything out there on the field. But 11.5 points is a lot of points to leave on the field for this Texas team. Even though they do have their issues on defense, I still think they're going to find a way to scheme and stay close in this game. I think this game comes down to a touchdown either way. I don't think it's a 2-score game difference. So I might not sprinkle this game, but I'm definitely going to be on the Longhorn side.
Definitely backing Texas from our big Ragu. Ragu, do you have any looks for NFL on Sunday that you want us to know about?
Let's look at it this way. You give me a couple games to talk about, and I'll break it down in my brain, and we'll just shoot from the hip, because I haven't put down a game for NFL 1 yet. I was going to do that once the college games kicked off. I was going to start breaking down, whatever I liked in the NFL, I'd start looking at it. But to be honest with you, I'd be transparent here. I haven't looked at NFL 1 yet.
Well, I have already locked in 6 plays. I'm on the Eagles, Vikings over 43.5 minus 105. I'm on the Niners, Rams under 51 at minus 105. I'm on the Redskins, Dolphins over 41 minus 110. I'm on the Steelers, Chargers under 41.5 minus 110, which was very disliked by Whale Capper. He's on the over there. I'm on the Falcons minus 2.5 at minus 102. I love that they stayed in the desert. Dan Quinn's job's on the line. I become very confident in that spot against Cardinals. I know it's crazy to say that because they've been so shitty, but I am quite confident. I'm on the Texans plus 5 at minus 120, and I'd like to talk about the possible additions that I might make. The first one is backing these Steelers plus the points. Let me move over to my notes from the Audible, backing these Steelers plus the points. A lot of really nice things being said about Hodges, the FCS all-time leader in passing yards, and that he's a step up from Mason Rudolph. Do you think that Hodges is a step up from Mason Rudolph?
If you ask me about a third-string quarterback stepping up in a role in the NFL, I would tell you better take your temperature tomorrow, or you better check yourself into a hospital pretty quick. But, the way that things are going for the Steelers, and, he's been more of a game manager role anyways. I don't know a whole lot about this kid coming behind Mason Rudolph, but I know one thing, that the line is kind of flipped up from 5s to 7s, and maybe you're on the right side with the points here, because we are playing a National Flag League, we are playing in the Not for Long League, so things change on a weekly basis in the NFL, and primetime games tend to look like an underplay, and if you like unders, they usually correlate with the dog, so you might have a legitimate claim here in this game. Chargers, I just hate going up against Rivers in any type of scenario, especially at home, but a touchdown, I would definitely not be anything less than a touchdown if I had a look on Pittsburgh. It'd be Pittsburgh plus 7 or nothing, or if it's less than a touchdown, it's the Chargers for me.
Farshad Asami saying Chargers will cover. Prince of the City laughing out loud saying I'm smoking that bad stuff. And Dom Ricci saying if you guys are around later, Ragu, Big Boss, Noli Knows, 9 p.m. in the Boss in the Sauce Lounge. Definitely check those out. AM saying what were the CFL plays for tonight? We're going to know shortly because Al Mack will be joining us. And then Ragu, finally, to put a bow on this, do you have any look on this MLB game about to pop off? Cardinals, Nationals, Game 1, NLCS.
Let's talk about both of these games, or both of the series that are coming up briefly. I'll keep it short. The Nationals are live. We know that. I had them series-wise against the Dodgers. I was popping off in the chat about taking the Dodgers to taking the Nats to take the Dodgers out in the series, which that happened. And St. Louis has been a cancer team for me all year. Early in the year, I couldn't figure these guys out for nothing. I just know this, that the Nats, they're live with their pitching. The bats are going to come around. This is a team that's kind of been a magic team. I would probably play the Nats in every game with the exception of Flaherty. Now, Flaherty, he's a Cy Young Award winner in my book. Kid is a great pitcher, and And then on the other side, Houston kind of burst my bubble with the Rays, but Rays were like a magical type team anyways. I was surprised that series went 5. I was free rolling with them at Houston for a plus price early, and I lost, which no shame in that because, it did go down the way it did. So I would, but I'm going to be banking my guys up in the Bronx. Don't come into my house and talk smack if you're going to try to take the Yanks out because it ain't happening. We're in a good position pitching-wise there because of Cole went. But Cole, he's a beast, man. Unbelievable. So 2 stayaways for me is Cole and Flaherty. Other than that, I'm on the Yanks and I'm on the Nats.
Oh, I love it. Great breakdown from our guy, the Big Ragu. You can catch live tonight in the Boss in the Sauce Lounge at 9 p.m. and then live again tomorrow morning on the Closing Line show here at Sportsbook Review. Follow him on Twitter, Big Ragu 62. Big Ragu 62, great follow on Twitter, and just a great capper all around. Big Ragu, thank you so much for joining us. Have a very profitable weekend, my friend.
Best of luck to the chat. We keep grinding to put money in everybody's pockets and take these books. Take them down, baby. Let's do it.
There he is, the Big Ragu in the house. We go from the Big Ragu to Al Mac. Al Mac joining us from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from the 6. Al Mac, how are you doing on this Friday evening?
Good, man. How's it going?
It's going well. Lead the way for us. We've talked about your CFL looks, and we're getting questions coming in from CFL. What are the sports? I've been very caught up in my own bullshit today in these shows. So what are the sports that you want to cover on this show?
Yeah, I don't really have any plays for NHL yet. Usually I'll wait until like the second week of the season, get some data, and then I'll start hammering NHL. I do have one look in this postseason game for baseball, and then a full card of NFL and CFL.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk baseball because we were just talking about it. What's your move?
The only play that I've been riding in these playoff games, there's been 20 MLB playoff games so far, and in 16 of those 20 games, a run has been scored in the first inning. If you bet it every single game, you're up about 10 units. You're probably getting minus 110 to like plus 105, plus 120, depending on where you're at. So especially with these two teams, I think a run scored in the first inning, I got it at plus 100 at Bet365, and I like that prop a lot going forward. Probably more so in the NL than in the AL. You have more refined pitching in the AL, in my opinion, in that series. So I think in the NL series, you're going to see a lot of runs scored in the first inning.
A lot of runs scored in the first inning. Great to have Kelly McMillan here in the chat when we talk CFL. Do you have NFL looks? Because we've been touching on NFL briefly. Do you have NFL looks for this weekend?
Yeah, I'll just put out my pick 6 card is, like I said, I've been focusing on NFL in the pick 6 contest. So I like Carolina. I got it -2. I like Atlanta -2.5. Cleveland, I like plus 1.5. Jacksonville, I got it -1.5. The Titans +2. That's my best bet. And then I'm just going to keep riding this primetime under trend. Pittsburgh, LA, under 41.5. So those 6 are my plays. If there's any that you want to ask me about, we can talk about it.
I do want to ask you about a couple of them. And if you're wondering about the Pick 6 contest, Al, out of 2,300, is 55th. He's 18-10-2. 18-10-2, I believe, is his record. Yes, Al Mac, I want to ask about the Cleveland Browns. You see a bounce-back performance, and you see Seattle struggling in an early game for them on the road in Cleveland. Is that how you break it?
Yeah, we've seen this a lot leading up into the season, that there was a massive amount of attention on the Browns. So on the futures market, there's a lot of liability on them, but it seems as though all that took place in the preseason. So with the Browns, I think, it's the type of thing where you have to be good before you can be great. And I'm not sure the Browns are even good yet. However, if there's any spot that the Browns are going to be able to turn things around, I think it's this spot this weekend against Seattle. Like the big experts, the power ratings out there, has Seattle as ranked the 16th team in the NFL. Browns at 2-3, about the 23rd team. Based on my power ratings, I think that these teams are about even. If you're going to make Seattle a favorite on the road, I think that number's off. I can see this game being 27-24 on either side of the football. So this line opened on the look ahead as Cleveland -2.5. So we've seen it move all the way now to Seattle being the favorite. So I just think that this is some misperception. The fact is that the Pete Carroll defense in the NFL is gone. That whole era of NFL football, I think, is out the window. We've seen these teams that have tried to mimic that style of defense. Jacksonville, Atlanta, even the 49ers are pretty much the only team that have been able to have success doing it. I think that scheme is played out, and I think the Browns are going to be able to bounce back at home in this game.
Tell us about your look on the Titans. Whale capper on the Titans money line. We have our guy Flash on the Titans money line, and you are backing these Tennessee Titans as well. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I just like I said on Wednesday, the Titans check all the boxes for me. They're on the road. They're an underdog. I think they're the far better defensive team in this matchup. I think, Denver has tried so hard for 4 games to get that win. They finally got it, and it was an impressive win. But you look at Tennessee, even after coming off that disappointing loss to Buffalo last week at home, they're right back into it. They travel to Denver. I have Tennessee rated as like the top 10 defense, number 6 in this league. On the flip side, Denver is a good defense. What I really like in this game, I think the Titans are going to win this, but what I really like is an alternative under. Like, I like this at as low as 37.5. I think this will be like a 17-10 type game. Mariota on the road has been very well. He takes care of the football. He's one of the only starters left in the league that has not thrown an interception. And like I said on Wednesday, Flacco has 6 thrown touchdowns and 4 interceptions so far this season. And with a defense that needs to stay on the field, I think that Tennessee is just going to be able to grind out profit net as for yards, and I just think that Denver won't be able to hang with them. And I like Denver on the money line here as well, but just for the contest, I'll take them on the ATS.
You mean Tennessee on the Tennessee, right? You said Denver there, backing Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah, you're right about Mariota, man. Unbelievable. The Titans are the 6th team since 1970, the 1970 merger, to go through the first 5 games with just 1 turnover. Mariota is the only NFL quarterback to start 5 games this season without a turnover, and he has the longest active streak of passes thrown without an interception. Blitz W said, I just got the over 6 in Hurricanes, plus 100 in that Carolina game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that look at all. I mean, sure, you probably would rather have a 5.5, but I don't think I don't see the Islanders being a very strong defensive team this year. Remember they went from the worst defensive team in the league to the best, and now you're going to see regression to the mean there. Okay, I love it. I love these looks, but we need to talk one more time because both Donnie Rightside and the Whale Capper on New Orleans, and the public on New Orleans too, but you are not. The Sharps are not. Tell us why you're back in the Jags.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because I thought that the public would be on New Orleans here. Hopefully, maybe there'll be some Sunday, Joe Schmo action that comes in. But I just think the thing with Jacksonville, they've changed their their offensive scheme now. They run with a deep back with Fournette as a deep back with the I formation. He used to line up as a receiver or as a traditional back, and this team is so much better when they could stretch the field and when they have a legitimate pass run threat. Minshew, it's pretty sad that I think that Minshew he might be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this year. So that's more a reflection of the state of this league right now. I think Minshew is a shoo-in possibly for Rookie of the Year, for Offensive Player of the Year. I just think there's going to be I think these teams are more even than you think. If Fournette can have a good game defensively, Jacksonville has a few problems, but New Orleans has seemed to play better on home on their turf. So I think Jacksonville has an upper hand here. I would hope that the market would disagree with me, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems that Jacksonville has been taking money. It's been staying put. Hopefully on Sunday, this might end up at Pick'em. And I just bet Jacksonville money line. I just think Jacksonville can pull this off.
Yeah, Raven in the Desert says Minshew real deal. Folks will find that out. There's our guy Corey Simmons in the chat. Let's take a second to wish Corey Simmons a happy birthday. Much love to you, man. You put so much energy and insights into our show, and I just hope you have a great, great night and enjoy every second of it. Okay, Al Mac, let's get into CFL football right now. CFL football. I'm going to pull up your looks from earlier in the week right now. Here we go. Al Mac and I must have put them. Maybe I put them on my NFL. Sorry, let me pull them up. Well, I know first off, and Al's been absolutely destroying CFL. Let's get there right now. I can remember a lot of them. First off, you like the Argos, and you could have got them. I believe you could have got them at -1, and that's where you got them at -1. And that is true. You got them at -1 on the 8th. They were available at -1 until 2 a.m. on the 11th. They're now at -2.5. Do you still like the Argos even now at -2.5?
Yeah, just plain and simple. I think Toronto is about 5.5 points better than Ottawa on their home field. So, 2.5. In the CFL. I just think that when you start these half points, they matter. But I think Ottawa is a team that, if I could book this game, I would have this line set at 5. I don't trust Ottawa whatsoever. It's a windy day. Toronto's the home team. I just think that if Ottawa can't run the ball, can't pass the ball, can't have any type of through the air threat, I think Toronto much better running team than Ottawa. And if they can get a good balance between Franklin and McLeod Bethel Thompson, I think they're both going to probably see time tonight. I think that Toronto's a lot better than Ottawa, but beyond just the simple power rating points, I just think they're a better football team all in all.
And this game pops off in 17 minutes. Are the Argos a double up spot, first half full game?
No, just because I don't trust. It takes some time, I think, for the Argos to get going. Hamilton has been my first half go-to all season, just because I feel like their game plan is to just come out and boat race teams. Toronto, I feel like it takes some time. It takes a little bit of failure almost every single game for them to wake up. They'll either switch from Franklin to Bethel Thompson or Bethel Thompson to Franklin, and that's when I feel like they get their energy. So I don't feel comfortable hitting the first half. I think if you give this team a full game to cover just 2.5 points, even on the 2.5, I got it at -1, but I'll still probably bet it at 2.5 right after we're done here.
And I'm going to do that. And there's a -2 at -115 at Bovada. I will take that. I'm locking in Argos -2 at -115. So, and everybody take note. We have Al on Wednesday and Fridays, and Al's looks on Wednesday and Friday he's beating these line moves. So here's another spot where we had the Stamps at -3. There are no longer -3s on the board. Actually, you can get one at Bet Online at -123, but they were regular prices -3 on Wednesday. Now 3.5. You still like the Stamps here?
Yeah, I like them by a margin, and I just think that there's some unquantified points that are here that you don't see in the numbers. Calgary has fallen out of first place for the first time this season because of that head-to-head matchup last weekend, and then the Calgary loss. So Calgary needs this win to they want home field advantage through the first 2 rounds, or the first whatever game that they play in the Western Conference. They want home field advantage. They're hosting the Grey Cup, so if they can come first, they won't have to play a road game in the playoffs. So there's some numbers here that aren't baked into the line, and I would like Calgary as many as probably 5 points. So 3.5 points, I still think there's some value. This might be a game where you might want to look at the first half line, just because I feel like Calgary's going to want to come out and ensure that they can they can dominate this game however they want. They can dictate the pace of the game, go to the run later on. So I think that Calgary might want to get some margin early here. I would take a quick glance at the first half ATS line, but what I would do is probably do a Toronto money line, Calgary first half parlay. That's the type of look that I would have for this game. But I'm going to bet I already bet the 3, and I'm going to bet the 3.5 as well.
Wow. And Kelly McMillan, perfect timing to jump in. Kelly McMillan and you, Al, should connect on Twitter as well. Great call, or CFL capper. Calgary, Saskatchewan, 2 good defenses, 2 great offenses, leads me to the over 47.5 and liking Toronto first half. He's also, I have Kelly on Twitter, he's also liking the over. Oh, no, that's where he's liking the over. Sorry, Calgary in the over strong, Toronto first half, good play. I am going to combine Kelly and Al with this look on the Argos. Kelly liking the first half and Al liking the full game. I'm going to take these. I'm going to double up on these Argos here. This game popping off in 13 minutes. I have Argos full game. Now I'm taking them first half here. First half, I'm getting -1 and -110. That's market. Argos -1, -110. First half, locking both of those. Speaking of which, these guys, both Kelly and Al, are destroying CFL. I'm just barely holding my head above water at this point. Can you pop up my record quickly on CFL? Just barely keeping my shit together here. Okay, what do you think of Kelly's look on the over in tonight's game, Saskatchewan-Calgary? Sorry, let me get to the full game here. Full game spreads and totals here at Sportsbook Review. So first half, let me go to full game. Here we go. It opened at 47.5. It's now 48 at some books, or 47.5. I know that you've been staying away from totals because you've been succeeding with sides, but do you think points will be scored Saskatchewan-Calgary?
Well, it's the type of thing where, if you like Calgary, you would probably, it correlates to the over. If you like Saskatchewan, it correlates to the under. If Saskatchewan has any chance to win this game, in my opinion, to overcome, the motivation and just the skill that Calgary has over Saskatchewan, I think that they need to keep this low scoring, like a 2017 type game. But if you're Calgary, you're coming out there and you want to score a lot of points. But the problem is that when Calgary turns it on, they really seem to be able to lead with their defense. So you'll see a lot of games that it might be 24-3 or something like that, which still doesn't get you to your total. And that's the type of thing in the CFL. That's why, just as it's hard to predict who's going to come out every week and show up, it's the same way with the pace of the game. So I try to lean off the totals. If you gave me a free bet, though, I would be on the over probably for sure.
And I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll with both Kelly and Al's look there. Saskatchewan, Calgary, over 47.5. Now, on the late game tomorrow, you and Kelly are on opposite sides. The late game tomorrow, I'm just going to pull up the number here. Sorry, I've been moving off of it. On the late game tomorrow, going to spreads and totals, you're liking the Eskies, and Kelly believing in this market move back into BC Lions. Why are you on? Oh, and are you staying off of Alouettes Blue Bombers?
I kind of like the Bombers now. I feel like Montreal is going to have a bit of a deflating performance coming off that big emotional win last week against Calgary. So my power ratings have Winnipeg about 4.25 points better than Montreal, so about 1.25 on a neutral. So with the line at just 3.5. I think I already jumped on that. I don't want it to move to 4. If it moves to 4, I might not play it. But at 3.5, I like it. I think Winnipeg, they want to stay at pace with Saskatchewan and Calgary, another head-to-head. So Winnipeg needs to win this game if they want to stay within those two teams. So, I just think there's some extra motivation this week that isn't in the numbers. So I like Winnipeg at the 3.5.
And also, our guy Kelly McMillan doing the prop that you love so much. He's taking the Stamps to win from 1 to 6 points. Kelly McMillan saying he likes Winnipeg as well. I'm going to study that game knowing that you guys are on the Bombers. I'm not going to make a move on those games yet. I'm going to study them. Okay, and quickly, Al, can you quickly tell us why you like the Eskies? I've got to make some moves. I got to get in these Argos bets before I got 9 minutes. So why are you liking the Eskies?
I just think it's a type of thing. You look at these two teams, Edmonton, BC, they're basically about the same offensively. Defensively, I think Edmonton is slightly better. And then again, it's just one of those spots where, Edmonton, I have them at 5 points better than BC. And there's some points here that you can't quantify, and that's that Edmonton is in a playoff race still. They want to not They want to stay within this game, even if they have to play the crossover. They want to stay within this league and not be embarrassed. So Edmonton needs to win this game. BC, their season's over. So it's that dream crusher type scenario. I just don't think that. I think Edmonton should be favored, and they're not. So that's why I like the Eskimos here.
Oh, I like it. Al Mac, we got to put a bow on this show. Put a bow on this weekend. We love having you on these shows Wednesdays and Friday nights. Al Mac, tell us where we can find you on Twitter. Tell us about your work with Spark Sports and also about your work here on the sportsbookreview.com website.
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter at SparkAlMac. Put out all my action there. And then hit up sparksports.ca. Put up my defensive power ratings for the NFL every week. I've been doing a lot of good stuff over there with my props on the first touchdown. So hit that place up. And then with SBR, every week I put out my early looks, and then I put out my teasers Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I have some parlay action for college football. And then, like I said, I don't really get involved with NHL. I've been focusing on the Leafs for the first 2 weeks. So I'm going to take this weekend, I'm going to take all the data from the games that have been played, and then next week I'll have a whole list of different angles for each team and for the whole league. So I'll have more NHL coming.
I know you will. I know you will, man. I know you eat this shit up, and I love it. We all love your intensity and your need for action and for angles is inspiring. Follow Al, Spark Sport. I'm going to put Al's Twitter handle. I'm also going to put Kelly McMillan's Twitter handle here. Very, very good CFL capper. There's Kelly McMillan's Twitter handle. Do follow my guy, Kelly. And then I'm going to put up Al Mac's Twitter handle here. And I got to go make bets. I got to go make bets fast. Here we go, Al Mac, and let's get it right here. Spark Al Mac. Follow my guy, Al Mac. Thank you to all the guests we had on the show. It was very, very enjoyable to have everybody on it. We started with Drew Martin, then got Big Ragu, then Al Mac. Al Mac, have a great weekend, my friend, and keep cashing.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
There he is, Al Mac, every Wednesday and Friday here. All right, I got to go make bets. I got to go make some money. Coming off a real nice night in NHL, I want to keep that going. I've got nothing without you guys and this chat. This chat just never ceases to inspire and to share laughs and to share great insights. Let's get that paper. Let's get that paper. Let's fucking eat tonight. Leche Halos Bookmakers!